Hi, friends. Welcome to our fireside chat and conversation with Talkable client Mizzen+Main and Talkable partner Attentive. We're going to be discussing building community and how that directly boosts your sales. So I am Sara, the marketing operations manager at Talkable. Fun fact, I used to be a client of Talkables and I just love the product so much and the people so much. I decided to come over and work with my friends here. And when I'm not focused on all things marketing and life cycle management and acquisition and retention, spend a lot of my time writing. So I am a published author and poet with an emphasis on love and haiku. And we have Kirsten.
Hi, I'm Kirsten. I'm the Director of Retention and Loyalty at Mizzen+Main. So I've worked at Mizzen+Main for about a year with Talkable and Attentive, and worked previously with Talkable and Attentive at another brand for the last probably 3 or 4 years. So very familiar with both partners. When I'm not driving lifetime value for retail customers, I'm usually rearranging my house and pretending that I'm an interior designer. So
Yes, constantly need that change.
Yes, always.
Yeah, and Greg, how are you?
I'm good, Sara. Thanks for having me. So I'm Greg Bauman. I'm Director of Ecosystem Partnerships at Attentive. So I've been here for a little over 2 years. I've been in the e-commerce space doing technology and agency partnerships for the last 7. And yeah, so as an avid Mark Summers fan growing up, I actually got to go see Double Dare live and actually won a prize directly from Mark Summers in the audience. So fun times all around.
Yeah, so we're in the presence of Nickelodeon royalty, it seems. So very excited. For our little chat today, we're going to talk about our 3 favorite things: overcoming increasing CAC, retention strategies, and around this idea of building community and creating authenticity for our customers, and then also our brands. So let's just jump right in. Let's get into it. So overcoming increasing CAC. This is something that I think all marketers are struggling with. The rise of acquisition costs, it just continues to go up. And we're trying to be creative and find new ways to bring in new leads and customers at a lower CPL. But I'm just curious, like Kirsten, Greg, how have you seen acquisition change over the last year or 2?
On our end, we've definitely seen the impact of just the privacy updates and our ability to effectively target. So we're really in a state of testing and learning across the different channels to see what works for us. We've definitely been able to cut back some spend on remarketing as the effectiveness has gone down. So we're really relying on our retention channels like email and SMS and referral to make up for that. So we're still testing into different variations of advertising that work within Instagram, TikTok, etc. But really just, taking it as we go and figuring out what works and how we can drive our CAC down and LTV up.
Yeah. So what would you say the channels that you're leveraging right now bring in the highest value of net new leads at the lowest CPL that you can see?
In terms of acquisition, let me see. Paid social definitely has been the biggest area of struggle for us. So specifically Facebook, we're seeing the effectiveness go down there. We're still able to drive good traffic through Instagram. It's just not immediately that we're capturing them as a customer. So sometimes it's taking multiple touch points for a customer to, engage with our brand and see our marketing to come back. But in terms of lifetime value, we definitely see the highest in customers who, have come through, signed up for our email program, our SMS program, have been referred to our brand by a friend. So those are definitely the strongest kind of in terms of lifetime value and retaining those customers. So overall, our goal, we are definitely in a high growth phase as a business. So spending a lot of money top of funnel for brand awareness and really trying to gather as many of those customers onto our own channels and gather as much first and zero party data as we can, knowing that, customers aren't as easy to track as they once were. So we definitely see the value in that. Yeah.
Absolutely. Like you mentioned, referrals are always the best way to get acquisitions, just because I'm personally more likely to go check out a new brand if my friend or if my family member or partner is telling me about this brand and how much they love it. And then you mentioned email and SMS. I think SMS is rising. It's going to only continue to get more prevalent in our marketing strategies. Greg, why do you think SMS facilitates such an incredible point in the acquisition strategy?
Yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, Kirsten hit on a lot of the current privacy dynamics and challenges. And I think just in general, it makes being an e-commerce marketer almost harder than ever in terms of really being able to find like the right consumers to get them to your site. And so when we look at SMS specifically, there's definitely been a mobile shift in terms of our behavior. Almost 3/4 of all online sales now come from the mobile device. And so when you are driving traffic to the mobile site in particular, but even your desktop, it's even more important to be able to capture that email address or that phone number so that you can then move them into more of an owned channel and nurture them to get them to become a customer. And so where I think SMS plays a critical role in that is we only have one phone number. We might have 5 or 6 email addresses that we're using to sign up for different types of promotions and things like that. But we don't have that with our mobile device. We have that one number. So giving someone your phone number shows real buyer intent or just intent in learning more about the brand. Like they're typically going to be a more loyal customer if they're going to opt into your SMS program, because they're basically saying like, I'm allowing you to hit me up on my mobile device that I'm going to see immediately, once, maybe twice a week. And so it's really turning into a top 3 revenue channel for a lot of brands really fast because of the fact that everyone is seeing those messages and they're engaging with those messages. And so when you look at overcoming that CAC, I mean, it's really important to get that phone number so that qualified traffic that you are bringing into your site, you're able to have that conversation with them over their mobile device, where we are looking at our text messages frequently. We see our text messages within the first 5 minutes of receiving the text. So there's an immediacy factor to it that really drives like true engagement with your customers.
Absolutely. And I think that's a great point and a wonderful segue to come over to the rising role of retention, which I think is probably all 3 of us our favorite thing to talk about, especially going into 2023, making sure that we're retaining our loyal customers and not losing them to competitors or other brands. But you had mentioned the immediacy and the urgency behind text message. And I was kind of just reflecting on my own purchase behavior and my digital footprint and behavior pre-COVID and pre-pandemic. I remember that I would always just sit my phone down, right, during work or after work, because it was too much screen time for me. Where now that we've kind of shifted into this digital first world, I mean, it's always been digital first, but we're definitely more connected on screens. How we are now with Zoom or these happy hours that we have with friends or the way that we're spending our time. How are you seeing your customers behave differently, Kirsten, now that we've kind of like shifted into what we want to call a post-pandemic world?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we definitely see customers when we send a text, they're shopping within the first like 5 to 30 minutes, which is kind of fascinating to see and compare that to email. I also think our customers coming around to the idea of engaging with brands via text, where in the past it felt like such a private and personal place to be talking to someone. So now customers are open to that, which I think is just an invaluable opportunity. If you think about, there's obviously the marketing component, telling customers about sales or products or things like that, but making it a 2-way connection where the customer can respond to a text and ask for help about, how to use a discount or ask a question about a product. And there is an expectation that someone is on the other end of that. So that's definitely a priority for us, knowing the change and the expectation. And our customer specifically is really interested in how to make things really fast and easy and convenient. So I think SMS as a marketing channel is just like, it's a natural fit there. So yeah, it's been really interesting to see. And I think it'll become even more prevalent over the next year.
For sure. Yeah. You said you were kind of surprised and interested of seeing customers who get a text message within the next half hour of purchasing. Greg, are you surprised at all that SMS plays such like a critical and important and beneficial role in retaining loyal customers?
Yeah, I mean, not anymore now that I've been at Attentive for a couple of years, but I think like a lot of us pre-pandemic, the idea of receiving text messages from brands just wasn't really something you thought much about. It was more taboo. It was, I don't want to be spammed on my phone. But when we lost that ability to go into stores and we lost that ability to really know like what our favorite brands were up to, I think that behavior really shifted. And now we see 9 out of every 10 people are either interested in signing up for a text message program or have already signed up for a text message program. So even if you specifically maybe aren't bought in yet, your customers most likely are. And so that ability to be able to communicate with them in a conversational way, as Kirsten mentioned, can really help differentiate your brand, because SMS really is that only channel where you can have a two-way conversation. People will respond to text messages that you send them. Are you replying back? Do you have the functionality available to be able to guide someone along that buyer's journey, or put something together that's very fun and engaging on their mobile device? So when we look at how do we drive repeat purchases, how do we drive lifetime value, the people that sign up for your program, as I mentioned, are your most loyal customers. They're 10 times more valuable than an email subscriber. You're going to have less subscribers just because we can only sign up for so many programs on our mobile device, but the value of those subscribers is huge. So how you interact with them is really important.
Absolutely. And we know that SMS converts. And Kirsten, you had mentioned that you kind of stopped investing in remarketing and maybe some social remarketing just because you weren't seeing the return or the engagement that you were wanting to see. Are there any other channels that you stopped investing, or are you seeing other channels really rise with your retention strategies?
I mean, in general, like I mentioned, paid socials just has been a hard one for us, and understanding like where it's worth investing, because there's obviously untapped customers that are there. So it's just a matter of balancing out the channels with the higher CAC, but maybe it's worth it because, we're tapping into customers that wouldn't have necessarily come across us otherwise. But I think that's definitely the beauty in these retention channels, something like referral. So through Talkable, we offer one of our deepest discounts that we offer as a brand for customers to refer their friends, because we really know that once you try the product, you're most likely going to love it and you're going to become an advocate for the brand. Still today, despite all of our efforts in upper funnel brand awareness, most people will tell you that they heard about Mizzen+Main through a friend or family member, and we really just know the value of that. So it's nice to be able to go to a channel like referrals and say, hey, we're going to offer $50 off your first purchase. If you refer a friend, they get 50 off. And when they purchase, you get 50, which might seem like a lot, especially as a brand who doesn't discount as heavily as some others. But knowing our cost to acquire a new customer, really it's very valuable to us. It's a lower than our average cost to acquire a customer. So leaning on our owned and retention channels and utilizing referrals as an acquisition channel has been really valuable for us. And we know that customers who come through referrals end up having a higher lifetime value than our average. So yeah, we're just making changes as things come along, but we're happy to have these retention channels really carrying the weight right now.
Yeah. And then referral and SMS together, I see it as both a retention and as acquisition strategy all wrapped up into one. You have your very loyal customer that you're offering a discount to for them to then go purchase something else, but they're getting that discount because they're bringing you a new customer. So it's really all working together. And I like this idea of, you mentioned that referral is, most of the people that come to you is because they came to you from a friend or a family. And we're seeing this a little bit more. I was just at HubSpot inbound. It was great. Highly recommend for anyone to go in person. And we really talked about this whole building community and the age of the connected customer and how we're so disconnected in a digitally saturated world. We're really searching for authenticity from brands. We want user-generated content. We want our friends and family to review, and we want to review those reviews to make sure that we're making the right decision. And I know Talkable is doing a lot to try to build community, not only within our internal teams, but also with our clients and helping them build community with their customers. But Kirsten, I'm curious, how is Mizzen+Main shaping their brand around building community and offering a community to their clients and customers?
Yeah, I think this is really starting for us with this idea of how do we build relationships with our customers. And obviously that's easier said than done, but we now have more ways to do that than we've ever had before. We have customers replying to us on social media. How are we responding there? So for us as a brand, our brand voice and just who we are is really important for us. We want to make sure that our customers know who we are. So we try to be really consistent in our brand voice, no matter where you're engaging with us, whether that's you're commenting on social and we're replying back, or you're sending us a direct message on Twitter, or you're responding to one of our text messages. We want to have alignment on this brand voice that's replying. So we become almost like a friend to the customer, like someone that they know. We recently brought customer service under the marketing umbrella, which I think has so much potential there to be able to kind of expand that brand voice and that community building aspect to the service that we're offering. So if someone reaches out, via email or via chat or gives us a call and has an issue, we're kind of approaching those situations the same way we're responding on social media or engaging on LinkedIn. So really for us, I think building community comes with this idea of authenticity, and is our brand authentic, and do you feel like it's a friend that you can reach out to for help, or a friend that's sending you inspiring and funny content. So our focus for the next year is really around just building relationships, but I think it really starts with that, just establishing that authentic relationship with your customer and figuring out all the touch points, really being where he or she is and meeting them there as opposed to them having to come to you. So I think there are a lot of ways that we're doing that already in our SMS channel. We try to have it a good balance of transactional, obviously sales driving messages balanced with, let me just get to know more about you. So we've had a lot of success in campaigns around, guess who's going to win the Super Bowl this weekend? Message 1 for this team, message 2 for that team, and message 3 for, I don't care, I'm just here for the snacks. And then on Monday morning following the game, sending out discount codes to the winner and also the loser. And we get customers messaging us back, like talking about the game. And I think that's just such an awesome opportunity to have as a brand. Like when your customers want to talk to you, like be on the other end of that. So that's really our priority over the next year.
Absolutely. And you had mentioned that there's so many touch points with, in the journey of a customer. And what we're trying to do over at Talkable is kind of give our clients and prospective clients channel choice. And I know, Greg, you mentioned that SMS is just such a vital part of the channel marketing. Do you expect that SMS is just going to be expected over the next couple of months or the next couple of years, and that it's sticky, it's here to stay?
Yeah, I mean, we really feel like within the next 3 years, brands are going to have to communicate with their customers via SMS. We really feel like that phone number is going to be the unique identifier in terms of like how you actually know who your customer is, especially with some of the updates that we talked about earlier, where on Apple, like you can even give a fake email address now that goes to your real email address. So like, how well do you really know your customers? The one thing that is constant is that phone number. Like I've lived in 3 different states over the last 20 years, and I still have the same phone number. And right, like that doesn't change. And so it's going to be a critical part when we talk about building community. And then also, again, that conversational aspect, you'll hear us talk about that nonstop over the next few years. It's like, how do you really build like a true emotional connection with your customers? How do we go from more like transactional loyalty to emotional loyalty? And, Kirsten brought up like such a cool example of how to really like know who your customers are and engage with them in a way that's like less sales related, but it is building that like brand equity, that brand loyalty that is going to turn into repeat purchases later on, right? Like there aren't many channels where you can actually have a conversation with someone. And that's how you build that emotional loyalty. Because if they're willing to respond to you, that means they want to be a part of the journey with the brand. They want to feel like they're affiliated with the brand. And so even bringing customer support to more of the marketing side is huge, because we see over a 30% lift in revenue spent per subscriber when there's a two-way conversation versus just like a one-way message. And that includes customer support. Customer support is a great way to offer a true customer experience that's going to drive that loyalty that you're looking for. Like you should really look at SMS, not just as a sales channel. It's a great sales channel, but it's a customer experience channel, because there are things that you can do with SMS that just aren't available with email or some of these other channels that are out there, because of the fact that like you are just able to have a conversation with them.
You're able to have a conversation with them, and then it's fast. It's super quick to launch. You don't have to spend time developing ads and getting creative and getting the right message out. You get to be just a little bit more loose and a little bit more authentic in yourself. And conversations are messy and there's typos and there's X, Y, and Z, but it's a really quick channel to leverage to get people engaged. And I heard this stat somewhere about how like 60% of data is wasted. And a part of that is because we're going out and trying to find that data ourselves, but SMS and referrals are a great tool to get that zero-party data directly from your user. Let them self-identify, like I think you said, like press 1 for this or press 2 for this. And if that's integrated with your CRM, you have all this data around a contact profile that you can then serve them very relevant and engaging content that it would feel like it's super tailored for that person. And I think the SMS and the referral just play a huge role in that. And Kirsten, do you have any like of your favorite SMS campaigns that you've launched that you really think fostered and nurtured community?
I think the best example is probably back in February, and I don't know for anyone listening who is maybe remembering this, but Slack was down for a couple hours. So in our little pod, we're like, well, we can't really get much done. This is funny. A lot of other people are probably in the same boat. So within 5 minutes, we're able to send out a text kind of leaning into that. Well, no one's getting anything done. So here's 20% off your purchase if you purchase in the next 2 hours or until Slack is back up, using code SlackFire 2022. Obviously, the idea of community around just nodding to the thought that so many other people are experiencing this, leveraging SMS, which is so quick and easy to shoot a campaign off. And it was one of our top revenue driving campaigns of, I think, the quarter. So I think that's another great example. And how we try to look at SMS, we don't try to map the calendar out too far in advance because it is so easy to get things out. We want it to feel relevant. So we really like to look for opportunities. We kind of have our marketing calendar planned, but we have these days or even just openings in our calendar to give us room to do things like that. Because I think that's also because of the immediacy and because people are checking it so quickly and responding back, like to be relevant in what's happening in the moment, I think just helps make it feel more authentic. So that's definitely our approach. And that was a fun example, but yeah.
Yeah, I definitely remember when Slack was down. I know Talkable team were just like, what do we do? How do we communicate? And that's really hard because we're completely remote. Our entire company, we're spread across the globe. And that is our main source of communication. And so I think it's really fun and awesome because I imagine a lot of, Kirsten, a lot of your customers are in the like corporate world or in the work world, and they're likely also using Slack. So it's a great nod to knowing your customers and meeting them where they are. But tell me a little bit, like, I know that Mizzen+Main uses SMS and they also are super integrated with the referral program through Talkable. How are these two channels joining forces to provide the results that you're looking for?
Yeah, absolutely. They are everything, all the retention channels, honestly, between email, SMS, and referral are so intertwined. We're using email to drive SMS subscribers. We're using SMS to knowing that that's our most loyal customer base to drive referral signups. So we've done things where it's just highlighting this great $50 offer. We've also done limited time periods via SMS where we'll say, hey, if you refer a friend in the next 2 days, we're actually going to give you even more money to give them and more credit back when they purchase. So identifying those periods of time to boost our referral numbers. We also have post-purchase journeys, both in email and SMS. So once a customer purchases for the first time, maybe after that second purchase, they're going to get a message from us via SMS or via email saying, hey, clearly you like what you're experiencing and you're coming back. Like, we'd love for you to be an advocate on our behalf and share. And here's this great incentive for you once your friend or family member purchases. So we've definitely seen a ton of success in that, and like it being part of that just post-purchase flow, knowing that our customers are our best advocates.
Absolutely. And Greg, if we have any listeners who haven't tapped into SMS just yet, what would be the main piece of advice that you would give brand leaders when they're thinking about going to SMS?
I think the main thing is just getting the program started and start getting the list going. Sorry, live TV here. Yeah, so if you haven't started the program, I mean, the hardest part about it is growing your list, because it is so much harder to get consumers to opt in to your SMS program. And so that's what I would really focus on, like kind of the foundational aspects of the program. Because one of the great things about SMS, and kind of highlighted it is just text messages, right? They're pretty easy to put together. There's not like a ton of design that has to go into them. And those fundamental campaigns are what drive a lot of the revenue that you're doing. The segmented messages, the cart abandonment messages, welcome series. So really just getting the foundation going first, and then look at like some of the strategies that Kirsten is putting together, where you're building community and you're making your program fun and engaging. I mean, that's really where you're going to drive like real value and give a positive customer experience. Is I have so many options for programs to opt into. What makes mine unique? Why am I going to spend time investing in Mizzen+Main's program? And so you have to think about like who my target customer is and what's going to get them excited to want to interact. And I love the example of Slack. I think that's hilarious. And also, asking people who's going to win the big game. You could even send like a special coupon to everyone that picked the right winner. Those types of campaigns. We have clients that have done scavenger hunts, holiday themed campaigns, like whatever it's going to be that really gets your customers excited to interact with you is how you're going to turn them from a one-time buyer. Maybe they came in through the SMS channel, and turn them into one of your loyal advocates.
Absolutely. And we use those things to drive signups. We say you're not going to get these things that you're getting on this channel anywhere else. So exclusive access. We've seen a lot of success leading up to a big launch or a big promotion. We'll say, hey, like, you're going to want to join the SMS list. Like, just trust us. Something is coming. So we'll use this like leading up to the event to drive signups, and then let them be the first to shop whatever the event is or whatever the new product or the promotion. And really that exclusivity is such a reason not to leave the list. Like you're maybe I'm tempted to unsubscribe just to clean up my inbox, but I actually don't want to miss out on those things that I know I'm getting here. So I think obviously having those things to keep people subscribed, but using those things as a way to get people interested to become a subscriber, I think has been really impactful for us.
Yeah, I like that.
You can't send, sorry, I was just gonna say, like, you can't send a text message every day like you can with email, right? So you have to be really pretty strategic about that real estate that the subscriber has given you. So you want to make sure that they're really impactful, and they're not always just about a sales message, because over time, like, that can cause fatigue. So yeah, just being really strategic about how you message those subscribers, because you only get like once, maybe twice a week to be able to really communicate with them through this channel.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Yeah, and I think the post-purchase flow, incorporating SMS during your referral program post-purchase flow is a great way because they're happy, they've purchased, they probably purchased on their phone. And so then they're now getting a text message to their phone about how they can get another purchase, but then also bring their best friend or their partner over to their favorite brand. But I loved everything that we've talked about today. I think the rise of acquisition costs will continue to go, and in 2023, we'll definitely be focusing on lifetime value and making sure that we're retaining our loyal customers and using the referral program to let them bring in net new leads for us. Just because referral is such a natural way to build community. It is at its core community. It's starting with word of mouth, and now we just elevated it to this technological integration with your websites. But I'm personally more likely to purchase something that my friend has referred to me. And if we can share that experience together, that will only strengthen our friendship. I'm thinking of an example of just like a Nalgene bottle. I broke mine. My friend was like, hey, I got this at X brand. Go get yours. I'm gonna get, and then I'll get $10 off my shirt. But if you get this bottle, then we can go hiking together and you don't got to worry about your water spilling. But just like using the referral program and the messages around there to build community and text, I think is really great. I've had an incredible time chatting with the both of you. I think Talkable has loved having Mizzen+Main on as a client, and our partnership with Attentive only continues to grow with their roadmap and how we're coming up with more integrations. But any final thoughts from either of you before we let our listeners go?
I would just say if you're not utilizing these channels, Talkable and Attentive today, do it. They're such strong, powerful tools, and they really do work stronger together. And I think something that's been hard for us to learn that's been worthwhile, and we're still learning this, is just you might not see the sales immediately for some of these things we've been talking about. Obviously, a Slack Fire promo code is one thing, but to really build that relationship and spend the time, getting to know your customers is so valuable in the long run, and how you're able to utilize that data, and really taking the time, if you are a brand, to establish that brand voice and brand identity so that your customer can start to know who you are. And I think just builds a better relationship. So, and a quick example in SMS that we've done in the last year is updating our contact card. So we have our brand logo, it says Mizzen+Main, and then the description is like, my favorite place to shop. And that's a note that we can put in that now is in their phone under our contact. So little things like that, where now they're seeing messages. It's not from this hyphenated number that's probably in a list of other hyphenated numbers in their inbox. It's like, it's from Mizzen+Main, and you know who you're talking to. So I think spending the time to establish that brand identity and really spend the time getting to know your customers and letting them get to know you would be my piece of advice.
That is really great. That is a good call out. You're right. I do have many random numbers in my phone with deals, but the ones that update their contact card, I absolutely notice a little bit more. Greg, and any final thoughts for our listeners?
Well, I definitely echo everything Kirsten said. I thought that was great. I guess like one final thought is, I know we're about to enter, for a lot of brands, the busiest time of year. There's a lot of expectations to really maximize all the traffic that you're driving to get as much revenue as possible during this Black Friday, Cyber Monday, e-commerce holiday period. And so I think if you haven't started SMS, it's still not too late. It's a really channel to get set up. And again, it can drive a ton of revenue in a very quick amount of time. And so what a better time to start your SMS program than during a time where you're going to be getting a lot of traffic to your site. There might be a lot of new users coming to your site, and this is a chance to get some of that first party data that you'd be looking for to get them to become a customer down the line. So, I'm sure at this point you're trying to figure out every single angle where you can have an edge. And if SMS is not on the list right now, like, definitely encourage it to be on it. We can help you get up super fast. So, please reach out if you have any questions, and then hopefully SMS can be a big channel for your holiday season.
Absolutely. Great points and insights from the both of you. Talkable and myself Very much appreciate you both chatting with me. We are all a community, and I love when powerful brands come together to educate and inspire others to grow their business. See you next time, friends.